Welcome back to Pi Worldwide's Services Sunday. Today we are here with our partner, Tony Center. Tony, how are you doing today, man?
Fantastic, Easton. Doing amazing.
That is awesome. I'm super excited to chat with you. Once again, we always have such good conversation. So you have been in the insurance industry for over 3 years. Could you kind of tell us what an insurance agent actually does?
That's a good question. And to correct you, I'm actually coming up on 7 years here
Holy
very
crap.
soon. So a little bit longer than three, but it all washes out. So, an insurance agent is a big, broad term that can be used in many different areas. But at the end of the day, insurance is protection. And so I look at the term insurance agent as protection agent. So different assets and different things in people's lives need protection. And that's what, in the nutshell, an insurance agent is here to do.
I love it. And what was your inspiration for really getting into the field?
Man, that's a good question. Honestly, when I was looking to get out of construction, I was looking for anything and everything. And I was actually going into real estate as an investor and looking at wholesaling properties as a way out of construction. And I was actually, about to close on a big deal and it went south. Somebody else had to close on it before I did. But what that taught me was the value of business and speed. And so not long after that, I was exposed to a conference where an individual was training on the values of insurance and investing and helping people prepare for their future. And he also explained the massive market need for the services. And so in that moment, I realized the market was gigantic for the services that were needed, but also the value that was brought into people's lives was not found anywhere else. And so it was a market share, also the value need combined together. Just really, really opened my eyes up to the possibilities that could be achieved in this industry.
That's awesome. And when you talk about the services, could you kind of I guess, give us a good brief definition of the services that you offer?
Yeah, for sure. Like I said in the beginning, it's protection, right? So there's all types of things that people can protect, and the fundamental thing that people think of when they think of life insurance is their life, right? And so they think of, well, I'm gonna get myself protected, so if something happens to me, my family's okay and they're good to go, and my income can continue on for my family for some time. But that is just the bare bones cornerstone functionality of life insurance. What people don't understand, though, is that there's so many more resources that can be used. One of the things that I love to talk about is insurance on money. Very rarely do people understand that they can insure their money from ever losing, just like they can insure their life and their income from being lost if they were to pass away unexpectedly. And so there are all types of life insurance products. There's 5 different types of life insurance. There's also insurance on your money with different types of things like annuities. There's also protecting wealth transfers through trusts. I'm not going to get too far into that, right? Going in left
Yeah.
field a little bit, but there's just many, many, many different ways that insurance can be brought in to help somebody out. In the 5 different types of life insurance, there's term insurance, whole life, universal life, variable universal life, index universal life. With annuities, there's fixed annuities, variable, obviously, just like life insurance does go up and down with the market. But then there is fixed indexed annuities, which are also just like fixed, guaranteed to never lose whenever the market fluctuates. So many different options for people and their needs. It's a very diverse market, and it just takes somebody to sit down and do a needs-based approach with somebody to figure out what's best for them.
Yeah. And I think that's what I love, with us having conversations and us chatting, you actually care. You care about giving the correct information. You care about actually helping your client. And has there ever been an experience that you had with a client where you were like, I am so grateful to be in this industry because I just helped this person do X?
Tremendously, man. Recently, actually, I had 2 separate client scenarios. I'll talk about one of them here. One of them, husband and wife, 4 kids, and the oldest was 12, the youngest was 10 months. And so pretty good range there. They're both 40 and 45, and trying their best, right? Like most of us, we're just do the best we can with what we got, and hopefully everything washes out at the end. And I was so thankful that I was able to meet with them, because sitting down with them, husband has 3 whole life policies that he's had for over 20 years. Wife has 2 universal life and a whole life. They have whole life on all their kids. The wife had an old 401k sitting at her old job, just doing nothing. After the third child, she thought she might go back to work. Fourth child came around, didn't end up going back to work. So just had 170,000 just sitting at her old employer doing nothing, at risk in the market. And so, and also $60,000 in debt. And so, I was able to meet with them, and first they really wanted to secure that old 401k. So we rolled that over into a fixed index annuity. By the way, the value of it was 170,000. 2 years prior, it was 190,000. A year ago, it was 150,000. By the way, she's not working at the company anymore. She's not contributing any money more. It's just riding out the wave. So we rolled that over, got her a bonus up front, guaranteed to never lose, and she's just so excited about that. So that was a real easy choice for them. But then they had they had stocks and Roth IRAs and 529s for the kid. They had just stuff everywhere, and didn't really know why. They kind of had a feeling like it was a smart move, but nobody was there coaching them, showing them which way to go. And so over many, many different sessions, I sat down with them and was able to educate them. Built a debt plan for them to get out of $60,000 of debt in 16 months. Built them a plan to, take their whole lives, which, value there for sure for the death benefit, but he bought them to grow his cash. And so paid in for 20 years and barely profitable at all, right? And anybody putting in money into 20 years into something, hopefully you'd want a decent return. So we're looking at replacing those. And, it just, long story short, what we're putting together for this family is honestly going to be putting them into a place where they're going to be creating generational wealth with what they already have. This is the biggest thing. People are already doing something somewhere, but it's on the most times it's an uneducated approach. And so when uneducated people make uneducated decisions, so my approach is education and empowerment when it comes to financial knowledge and access to resources. And then, people are smart enough to make their own decision with the right information. And so now they're able to make their own decisions with the right information, setting their kids up extremely powerfully, setting themselves up, and just putting in trust and all different types of things in place for them and their family.
And you talk about education a lot. Obviously that's the core of what you do. When we first met, you actually recommended me this book, and this book is amazing. I read the whole thing. My business partner also read the whole thing. It is eye-opening. And they talk about cash value life insurance, which you mentioned earlier. Could you dive into what exactly that is? Because I feel like a lot of people, including myself, weren't aware of that was even a thing.
Sure thing. Yeah, it's an area that some people understand on the bare bones basis of whole life. And, whole life has served a great purpose for the market for a long time. It's just a little bit outdated at this point, in my opinion. And cash value life insurance was developed kind of as a byproduct from term insurance not serving the population for their full need. So term insurance was there just in case, something happens, but it expires. And so people said, well, I don't want it to expire. I want it to be permanent. And so out of that need, whole life insurance was created in the 1500s. And as a byproduct of it, that it had a cash accumulation aspect. And the reason why is because they give a guaranteed rate of return so that the money that's going in covers the cost, and then it grows a tiny bit, or, marginal percentage rates. And over time that can grow and it can, accumulate. And so there's from, 1500s, things tend to advance, right? And
Yes.
so since then, new advances have come about. In the 1980s, universal life and variable universal life came out. And what they did is they created more flexibility with universal life, and then variable universal life created higher rates of return. you're in the market, so you can make a lot of money, but that's the risk, is also you could lose a lot of money. So when in these accounts, um, what really happened was there was a company called EF Hutton, who was a brokerage, stocks, bonds, mutual funds. That was their forte. And they discovered tax codes that allowed for tax-free growth inside of these permanent life insurance policies. So they actually created the very first ever universal life. And what ended up happening is they had all their clients uh, dumping money into these accounts, millions and millions and millions of dollars, and they're only getting, 10, 20, $30,000 of life insurance because they could grow it tax-free. Well, funny enough, I don't think I've ever told you this, but my grandfather actually worked for EF Hutton
No,
during
you
that
did
time.
not. Wow.
So, before he passed away a couple of years ago, I had the fortunate chance to talk with him about that, and he was saying it was amazing. The company was guaranteeing an 8% compound return on
Wow.
the account, and that was locked in, right? So, how hard is it to sell an 8% guaranteed compound rate? Not very difficult, especially when people are used to 2, 3, 4% from whole life. So as those accounts started to adjust and improve over time, with the market demanding changes, obviously these accounts start to improve, and the um, the three main changes that have happened is costs have gone down, flexibility has gone up, and rates of return have gone up over time. Right now, the latest advancement version of these types of life insurance policies is index universal life, which I like to say is like a combination of all the four previous versions. So it's the cost of term insurance on the cost of insurance itself. It has the guaranteed lifetime death benefit like whole life. It has the flexibility of premium funding like universal life, and it has the potential for higher rates of return of variable universal life. So it takes all of these different aspects and it puts them all into one. So it's not a one-stop shop for everybody, right? Everybody's needs are different,
Yeah.
but it is definitely a very powerful resource.
Yeah, that is super interesting. I had no clue that it started in the 1500s. That's insane. And the
Yeah.
fact that your grandpa worked there is kind of crazy. Did he ever talk about how they kind of uh, found out that they were giving this 8% return? Like, what kind of sparked that change of like someone come in and saying, "Hey, you can't do these tax benefits. We have to change that."
Yeah, well, it's an interesting story. To kind of paint it this way, E.F. Hutton said, "We're going to use this tax code because it's just tax codes. It's not necessarily a product per se. It's a tax code that they're leveraging inside of a vehicle." And so they started to do that, and the IRS actually sued them. Said like you can't do this, and E.F. Hutton won.
Wow.
So out of that, because what was happening was the clients were putting in too much money, okay, into these accounts. And so what happened was there were certain tax laws governing life insurance that came out of that lawsuit, and it set certain parameters. Mainly, it was 7702A, which governs the maximum amount of money that can be put into a policy given any death benefit. And so they said, well, you can't put in $1 million and only get $10,000 to death benefit and get all this tax-free growth, because what is that doing? That's taking money out of the IRS's pocket that they would otherwise receive in revenue. So, to put in $1 million, you need to have, $3 million or $5 million of insurance in order to compensate. So that really tried to even the playing field. So it raised the cost significantly in that era. So then it would, persuade more people to go into more taxable accounts, 401ks, pensions, IRAs,
Yeah.
so that the, IRS continues to get their revenue stream.
And it seems like because this isn't common knowledge. Like
No.
obviously this is not common knowledge. And it seems like to me, especially from that story, that they're really trying to hide this knowledge. And in this book, he also talked about how banks use it's not only wealthy people, but the biggest banks in the world use it. Bank of America, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, they have billions of dollars in this thing. Why do you think they're keeping this a secret?
Well, man, you're asking good questions. if I was to say why are they keeping it a secret, I believe it's simply because, well, let me say it another way. What's interesting is these companies are not allowed to market or advertise for these products. So it's very interesting when you start to actually like kind of peel back the layers of like why wouldn't they be allowed to market or advertise for these products? And think about it the other way. When is insurance required on somebody or for somebody to own? Usually when you buy a vehicle and you're driving it off of a car lot and you have a loan on it, right? It's because you're borrowing somebody's money that they need insurance on the asset that they own that you're purchasing over time. Well, when it comes to these financial vehicles with life insurance and things like that, I don't necessarily think it's in the government's best interest for people to have a tremendous amount of life insurance. And if you just understand the core basis, all aspects of life insurance are tax-free. Everything about it. As long as it is with you until the day that you die, it's all tax-free. All the money that grows into it, all the money that you take out as a loan, the death benefit, the living benefits, the long-term care, everything's tax-free. So who does that benefit? Well, certainly not the IRS, right? So, the average American family gets to be the winner in that equation. There's other things about schooling and education, which is something I'm very passionate about myself, is bringing this knowledge into schools. But, at the end of the day, there are certain things that are wide scale knowledge and certain things that are not. I mean, I see your fasting book behind you. Why don't we
Yes,
educate about the values of fasting?
exactly.
Why is that kept a secret in the general sense? You get a look into the world of alternative medicine, and all of a sudden it's like, wait, this is like a cornerstone. Okay, well,
Yes.
you get into the world of wealth and in wealthy individuals, life insurance is a cornerstone. Okay, so we could go back and forth about our speculations all we want, but
Yes.
at the end of the day, I just think it's not a product that serves. Um, I'll just say it this way: the government.
Yeah.
It's just it doesn't. It takes away their tax revenue and it takes away Wall Street's revenue for charging fees, whether somebody makes money or loses money. Um, yeah, I could go on and on, but I'm gonna
Yes.
pause and take a breath.
And the thing that I found very interesting about the way that you share your knowledge, you do it through TikTok and through short form video content. You have over 50,000 followers on TikTok. You have a video that is over 12 million, and you have over 1 million likes. What kind of inspired you to start sharing this knowledge through content creation?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, I did not start as a content creator and I still don't really consider myself one. My videos are very rudimentary. That's on my phone. I just use my setup right here, right? If you guys look at my videos, you'll notice this bookshelf, maybe some different arrangements over time. But I just realized that the education that people need is not this classroom style, boot camp style education that we're used to in school. Sit down, shut up, pay attention, no, be quiet. Like that's like, come on, man, we're people. We want quick information. Sound bites are very useful, and so if we can take detailed knowledge and distill it down into bite-sized format, then people are more likely to digest it. I also understand the ability to get information across a wide spectrum of people on social media. And so I decided to take the risk and take the chance of all the hate mail because it's out there, right? But hey, I love you guys because you boost the algorithm. Oh, there we go. Look at that.
That's
Celebration.
interesting. What the heck?
I have
Okay.
I don't know what that was. Oh my gosh.
That's
Um, wow. Okay.
that's
Uh,
awesome.
that's exciting. But yeah, I mean, just in general, the sound bites and people's attention are clearly gravitating towards something. And I figured, there's two people in social media. There's consumers and creators, and people are caught in consumption traps oftentimes. And so my passion is like, hey, why not educate people while they're consuming? Hopefully something will spark their interest. And my first video I ever posted on TikTok, like through TikTok platform, because I would post stuff on Instagram and then also posted on TikTok, but the first ever single TikTok video that I posted on the platform is that 12.3 million view video, and it just like completely revolutionized my perspective of how important this information really is and how hungry people are for it. And so since that date, I think about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago now, I've started to take a more proactive approach on socials.
That is insane. The fact that your first video was the one that broke 12 million when you were kind of in the process of, like thinking about making content, was there any fears or any hesitations or things where you were like, I don't want to do this?
Of course, every time, every video, it's like that. It's like, is this good enough? Am I presenting myself well enough? Is the information clear enough? Also, am I putting myself at compliance risk because I have licenses and I have
Yes.
to abide by certain laws? So I have to make sure that there's gray area and I don't cross it. And always, I'm just thinking, this is a valuable piece of information that I've found for myself is like, who am I trying to appease? The haters or my actual true audience? And so it's because like the hate mail is out there, guys. But it boosts the algorithm, like I said. So I have to make sure that my heart and my mindset are aligned in the right direction so that I'm focused on education and not so much kind of handling the haters, if you will, because they're like, what are we gonna do about them, guys? Come on now. All right, we got bigger lives to live and more fulfilling missions to accomplish. So for me, it's like, is my information clear? Is it articulating well enough? Am I in compliance? Is my heart centered? Is my mind focused? And can I get it out in 90 seconds or 3 minutes on TikTok? Like, it's a short time. I don't think if you guys have ever put out content, you realize how quick that time goes. But yeah, all that comes down to every time it's like, am I doing the right thing? And is this going to land? And then the end thought that I have is whatever, just post it anyway. See what happens. People need it. Even if it gets 10 views, those 10 people are going to be better off.
Exactly. And I think the thing that always shocks me is you never know who's watching. Like you could have a video that hits 100 views, but you have 10 people that now go looking at the information. And those 10 people might have never even liked the video or commented. So I love the short form content. I love the information that you put out because not only does it educate, but it makes people curious on the things that are out there and the things that are possible. And if you had to tell a business owner that is wondering about posting content or interested in posting content, what would you tell them if they were nervous or scared to post that first video?
Great question. First thing I would say is get centered on who your audience is and understand that they need your information, that what you have is specialized knowledge. And there are people out there that are hungry for it. Second thing I would say is givers gain. Givers always gain. You have to be okay with giving away everything you have for free because people value that. Everybody's trying to take money from everybody. Why don't you just give everything away for free? And at the end of the day, people aren't going to do anything with it anyway, but the ones that will are very powerful. A lot of people just consume stuff and do nothing with it. So it's like you have no fear of it hurting anybody because it's going to be their blessing if they choose to pay attention to it. And then, really it's the idea of get your thoughts organized, obviously. Think of what are specialized pieces of knowledge that you have that you're very passionate about, because there's everything in all these industries that people might have to know, but they're not necessarily passionate about, right? Compliance, I'm not passionate about it. I have to know it though. Okay. So there's certain things, if you'll notice in my speech, how I talk, I have to articulate things a certain way. My opinion is, the best case scenario might be different for each person, right? We got to accommodate for compliance, but we all have our preferences. And so be okay sharing your preferences. Be okay sharing that, but just make sure you put the little disclaimers if you have licenses that you have to abide by. But the biggest thing is just go for it. Just go for it. Get you out there on the skinny branches. Take a risk. I don't know. This is my personal take. The videos I spend the longest time editing do the worst.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know why it is
Yes.
that way, but the videos I just take on selfie mode or my tripod real quick, take, 1 or 2 takes and I'm done, and minimal editing, get hundreds of thousands of views. And I don't know why it is the way it is, but it's just taught me like people like real, authentic communication. They want to be able to feel you, not just hear you. And we're all gravitated toward people like us. So get used to telling your story during your videos and your information, and then people will be able to identify like, oh, okay, I'm just like Easton. I could really get behind his content, and I can follow him in his journey of health and wellness and fitness because I'm just like him, just like you, brother, because of the story that you tell. So those are some of the points that I would say for business owners when getting on to creating content.
Yeah, and I love what you said about well, one, the videos that I always think will do the best do the worst, and the videos that I whip out my phone and I don't know, I just film me doing something, they always do the best, or they sometimes do the best. And you also talked about giving for free, and I love that point because Alex Hermosi, he had a video where he talked about the givers, takers, and matchers. And he
Mm-hmm.
said the takers and the matchers, they're always trying to extract something and, get something from someone else. And the givers are all about giving for free, like you said. And not only are they going to get effed over more, but they'll have a smaller circle. But the people that are in their circle will be greater. And he said we'll be homies for life, which I loved. I'm like, that is completely true. And it's just amazing that you talk about, giving for free, because in the business world right now, it's really cutthroat. It's really, people don't want to give stuff for free. So I love hearing that from you, because I mean, that's why we met. And on your content creation journey, I actually met Nisea, who you're in a relationship as well. That's actually how me and you connected. And you guys not only are on a health journey together, you guys are not only making content together, but you're in the insurance industry together. How important do you think it is to have that person next to you that is supporting you and is there for you, like at every turn?
Man, it's everything. It's everything multiplied by everything. Whether it's a significant other or business partner, to have a partner that's willing to go through the trenches with you and has your vision, is in alignment with you, is critical. Right? We can only go as far as we can by ourselves, but we get a tribe around us, or especially a partner that you're committed to life together with. It's an amazing thing. We've all heard the phrase, right? Two people in love, in alignment, are unstoppable. Okay. And she's my rock, right? I'm the face, but she's the foundation. She's the bedrock. I would not be here in my life in this position without her. She woke me up. Many years ago, I was working 4 jobs at once, and she woke me up out of my hazed slumber, whatever you want to call it, and I really started to pursue life aggressively. And since then, our lives have transformed many times over. All the glory goes to her, right? I can't speak highly enough about her. I was a little bit of a softie back in the day, like a lot of people might be, or maybe they're too cold, right? And so we always say she's a little bit more sharp than I am. So she sharpened my edges and I dulled hers, and together we created an amazing, harmonious relationship in life, but also business partnership as well. So having that significant other or that business partner that's your ride or die, home is for life, is critical, because from there you really get to know that no matter what happens, you're good. You got your people, right?
I love that.
You can start from ground zero all over again because you got your people.
Yeah, I agree completely. I think having those people that you can trust and are there for you is so important. And like I mentioned, you guys are also on a health journey. Could you kind of dive into what you guys did and what kind of, sparked you to really make that change? Because it's important.
Yeah. 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 Well, the real reason is we want to start a family. And so we want to cleanse our bodies before we start that process and really get, just do everything that we can to be in optimal health. The second benefit was, man, I was just overweight. I was tired of being, sick in my body and not feeling great. So October 1st, we started a cleanse program. We took a hair sample, mailed it off to a naturopathic doctor. They analyzed it, analyzed for toxins, parasites, hormones, and I was whacked out. I had no idea. I knew I kind of felt off, but I didn't know I was that bad. My hormones were way off. And through a series of cleansing, so they take that, they analyze it, create a custom protocol for cleanses and different organs and different systems. And I think actually tomorrow is my final day on the cleanse, but I can't imagine like stopping it, because it's like I don't want to go back to regular life, you know, eating a bunch of crap and not respecting my body. But I started at 210 pounds, and today I jumped on the scale and I'm 186.7. My goal weight by the end of the year is 185 pounds. I haven't weighed that weight since I was in high school. So I am beyond excited to accomplish that. And by the way, all of this is with no exercise. All right. No exercise at all, just straight diet. And it just shows me like your diet is a lot more important than we think it is. And so now I'm really excited to get back into the gym and start to build my muscle mass, because my goal is 185 pounds with 10% body fat. I'm not going to get that body fat range unless I'm building muscle. So very, very excited about that journey. But I appreciate you asking that question, man. You do,
of course,
you do your research. You definitely do, man. That's awesome.
I have to. And I mean, it's exciting, you know, like to learn more. I mean, like the insurance side is cool, but like I want to learn about Tony. I want to learn about you. Like, why? Like, what are you doing? It's always cool to see other people in the business world taking care of their health, because when you get rich, that's cool. But if you're unhealthy or you have problems, and I think like doing the health thing, it really shows us the potential of our body. Like the fact that you lost that much weight just by diet really shows me and other people like, holy crap, food is insanely important. Was there like a specific diet that you followed? Did you do fasting? Like, what was your kind of key to losing that weight?
Yeah, now we're getting into your realm. I love it. I love it. So like I said, it's a custom cleanse program from this specific doctor. And so there were the first stage, it was 5 stages. So the first stage was just clean eating. It was cutting out a lot of nonsense and portion control. So it was eating, you know, I could only have 4 ounces of fish or 4 ounces of chicken raw, not cooked. I've never weighed meat raw. It was usually after it's cooked, right? Because water content. Couldn't have any beef the entire program, just because of my certain, you know, things I was healing. And so it was that diet for 2 weeks, and then it was what was called a fat and liver cleanse, where I had nothing but these shakes. I actually have one sitting right here. Okay, ready for me once we're off. Once we're done with this, it's ready, because that's my breakfast or my lunch. Actually, I missed a meal earlier. But you know, that for 3 days I did nothing but those shakes to really get the motion going. And then for 3 weeks after that, I had 1 meal a day, and then everything else was those shakes. So it was really, really focusing on cleansing, but also it was elimination diet. It was, you know, calorie deficit. So at my lowest calorie intake, I was at about 800 to 1,000 calories a day. And what I found out was like it was sucked at the beginning. I'm just gonna be honest, man. It was terrible. Yeah. But after about a couple days, my stomach shrank. I actually started to get used to it, and I could feel my body responding to the shakes. And so my sleep got better, my skin got better, my energy got better, like everything about my mental clarity got better, my ambition like rose, everything is like just improved. And so coming off of the tail end now, it's more starting to open up the diet again to include more foods, but there's still certain foods that is just completely out of the gate. Like everything's organic, everything's non-GMO, everything is fresh, very little processed foods. And you know, we all had Thanksgiving recently, or hopefully you did, or enjoyed some good food. You know, I went to my mom's house. She doesn't have the same standards, and you know, I was wise in my choices, but I veered off a little bit. You know, life is life, and I felt it, man. I felt it big time. And then we had our own Thanksgiving at home, and it was a world of difference. Where we had, you know, organic food, high quality food, everything made from scratch. And I felt fine. I actually didn't have the turkey hangover that most people have. I actually lost weight from Thanksgiving, right? Go figure. So it's an amazing journey. And I'm just so thankful to have taken the courage to start it. and then the determination to keep it going, because it was not easy. I'm just going to tell you that.
Yeah, when you told me that you were taking that journey on a late night call we had, I was so excited for you, because it's always exciting to see people take their health serious, live longer, be more healthy. Like, it is just exciting to be around that. And I have one more question. If you had the opportunity to have dinner with someone from the past and the present, who would it be and why?
Dang. Past and present. I would probably want to have dinner with, I just got his book. Marcus Aurelius.
Okay, I like that.
For his leadership qualities and being a compassionate leader, being somebody that really cares about his people and was able to lead a lot of people to live a very high quality life. That would be past. And then present, I'd have to say Ed Milet.
I like that one. I have his book back there, actually.
Yep.
Yep.
Definitely. So Ed Milet, visionary, business builder, people builder, mindset, just peak performance. I mean, the dude is the real deal.
Yes.
I've seen him speak many times, but I haven't had a chance to meet him. I have a great friend of mine who has known him since he was, I think 24, 25 years old. So I'm closing in on that gap right there to get to Ed, right? That's a big goal of mine.
I love that. That's awesome. So is there anything that you would like to add for closing remarks, how people can get in contact with you if they want to learn more, like any closing statements or anything like that?
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. So, well, first things first, Easton, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for giving this opportunity to me and asking me these questions. Very, very good questions, by the way. I'm excited for the journey that you're embarking on with everything that you're, taking on. You're taking on a lot, and I'm very excited to at least play my part in it. So how you can get access to me is at the Freedom Elite on TikTok and Instagram. And it's, just the words, no periods, no nothing, the Freedom Elite spelled normally, on Instagram and TikTok. And in those, on my pages there's a link to get access to my Calendly if somebody is interested and curious at, scheduling up a consultation. Also, we're building a website right now that I'm not ready to launch yet. So I'm going to keep that in my pocket for now, but stay tuned for more information for that. But as far as that goes, yeah, socials is the best way to get a hold of me.
Awesome. Well, Tony, it was an amazing conversation. I actually learned a lot. And I just want to say thank you as well for spending almost 40 minutes with me. It was an awesome conversation. And we will definitely stay in contact and be working together in the future. So, just thank you. I appreciate it.
My pleasure, Easton. Thank you for setting it up.
Yep. Thanks, Tony.
Take care.